It kind of evolved into a gay bar, and was considered the oldest continuously operated gay bar in Utah.
I didn't even know what gay meant. At the time, in the daytime, it was a straight bar. And then at 7 o'clock, people started coming in. The gay community started coming in. And I started meeting them. I'd sit down after work and I thought, these are really great people. And so it just kind of turned around where they started coming in the daytime and the straight people got very upset with me. I would always kiss them, on the cheek or something, and they just had no respect for that at all, and they thought I was terrible.
People would go there to drink and then to meet people and be discreet. It was being raided in the 1950s by Cleon Skousen, who was the chief of police at the time, and a very conservative Mormon.
There was raids, and the police were always around coming in.
What were they looking for?
For them to be dancing together or maybe kissing. That's how far back it went. And if you were dancing with another man close, that was terrible.
What made Radio City one of the most popular bars is that even though the front entrance was on State Street, it had a back entrance.
When it started to be gay, they didn't want to be seen walking in a gay bar.
You were like instant family the minute you walked in there. It wasn't that large of a place anyway, so it was pretty close quarters. But people were very friendly. Like a neighborhood bar, almost like, I suppose the common idea might be Cheers, only for gays and mostly gay men. And you had Rose behind the counter, and Rose was just somebody that, if she told you to F off, you could say F off right back to her and you'd still be friends. She was a great character, but she really cared.
I'd introduce everybody, because if somebody would go and sit at the other end of the bar, I'd make them come up and join us. And then they got acquainted.
They had a few pictures of supposedly sexy people at that time, like James Dean.
Oh, you smell cigarettes immediately because everybody was smoking, including me back then.
Older guys that had their seat. God forbid that you sat in that spot, because some old queen had been sitting there for 20 years.
Pinball machines. Those were the lights, and just your usual kind of bar posters.
And a lot of people would sit right there at that entrance, so they could have first dibs on who was coming through that bar.
You would see them come in, and then they would meet, and then they'd have to go home to their wife and the kids. And I never said anything. That was their way of life. This one lady came in, and she had a gun, and I was behind the bar, and she was looking for her husband. I said, you better put that down because I'm calling the police. Well, everybody ran out. Everybody went out the back door and left me there. And then somebody had called the police, and then they talked to her, and I took the rest of the day off.
I remember one particular gentleman, his real name was Leonard, but he was a drag performer as Diana Ross, and he was a dead ringer for Diana Ross, and I was madly in love with him, and I was convinced that he was a woman, and I thought, well, I'll get in drag as a guy and see if that'll work. And they had never ever seen drag as a woman playing a man ever, and because of that, I think I won. So I was the first drag king in Salt Lake.
And then when the AIDS hit, that was when it started getting bad, and my friends would come down to say goodbye to me when was dying from AIDS.
The bar had started to run down by the time I was also going to it, and the owners weren't putting any money into it.
I remember line dancing came into fashion, and you can't line dance at Radio City. The dance floor was as big as a table.
The Radio City could not really compete with the Sun and Backstreet and even In Between.
The older men went there, and that was just not the place to go if you were going to go out and have fun. Unless you were an older man.
It had been taken over primarily as a drug place. Gays had almost completely stopped going there.
I hated to see it go. I really did. In fact, when I drive by sometimes, because I never go that way, but to see it all gone, and I thought, well, you had fun there, and you had made a lot of good friends, and that's what it's all about. I don't care who you are or what you are. If you can be good friends with people, that makes your life.
Yeah.